Hi everybody, Judy Tuttle here with Tuttle Up Stamping. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Midland, Texas. It's time to tuttle up for some community and creativity together. I'm so excited for you to be here. We are on day 3 of our 5 days of the 2025 Spring Break Craft Along. There are 5 of us collaborating together to bring you 10 projects, 2 every day, plus a technique every day. So today's technique is something some of you may have seen before, but a little fresh take on it. Before we get started here, I'm going to turn off my notifications so that we don't get slammed with those. And let me get my camera set back up here. Okay. Um, when you come on, hi Laura, thanks for joining me. Let me know when you're here, like Laura just did. I'm gonna take a second to get my everything kind of adjusted here for us. Okay, so these are the projects that we've made in the past 2 days. We made this cute little Year of the Flower treat box holder using those um, everyday arches, I think they're called. Hi, Sherry. Thanks for joining me. We've got that timeless plaid paper right there, and the Year of the Flower was the star of the show on this one, as well as this card, which highlighted our technique, which is called a faux suede. You break down the fibers in the paper and you gently tear it apart and you ink it up a little bit. This card was fun because we called it a flap fold. There we go. Opens like that. Super cute, right? Again, these Year of the Flower stamp set, although it may not jump out at you at first, it really allows you to personalize your cards. And this card shows would have been a great Mother's Day card for my mom. She would have loved it because it is her children and her grandchildren's flowers. My son, my granddaughter, my grandson, and my daughter. The flowers are all highlighted there. So maybe I'll take it to her graveside when I go there in a little bit. And then yesterday we did this really cool called white wash watercolor technique. You know what, Sue? I was in and out in 20 minutes. It was the easiest dentist appointment I've ever had in my life. So it went well. Thank you for asking. You guys are so sweet. And somebody asked me about my ring. It is getting fixed. I took it to a jeweler last week. Told him the whole story, and he said, you should head to Vegas. You're very lucky you found that diamond. So this is what we used yesterday. It's called a whitewash watercolor. Super cool. These were designed by Erica Serwin, the famous one. These were designed by the famous Rhonda Wade, and today's cards were designed by Ange McKay, who is a Canadian demonstrator. Who we all love, right? Okay, so again, I want to remind you, you can get the technique cards, which I'm going to show you tomorrow how to cut them up and put them in a flat fold album. And then this wonderful PDF of all 10 projects. Look at all the pictures, examples, everything is in there. You can get these 2 things, this 10 project tutorial with color pictures, measurements, everything, and the technique cards. Hi, Linda Verts. Thanks for joining me. With any order of $50 or more this week in my online store, that was something agreed to by all of us. Or you can just buy the PDF outright for $25. But you might as well place an order and get your stuff plus the PDF and the technique cards. I'd love to get those sent out to you. All right, so today I don't have anything there yet, but we're going to do an embossed called Emboss Resist Technique. Some of you may have seen this before. I just think Ange did a really good job of highlighting it on this card. So this is the card that we're going to make today. And we realized that we didn't include the thick basic white in your cardstock pack. We gave you so much cardstock, but somehow we missed the thick white. So hopefully you have some thick white at home, or you could use crumb cake too. There's plenty of crumb cake in your packet that we sent you. You know, this was a huge project, and sometimes things don't go as planned. So you can use thick white of your own, or you can use some of the crumb cake or any of the other colors that we gave you that are in your packet. Okay, so we are cutting a piece of the Friends of the Ocean paper, and this is going to cover the whole front of this. So this is the paper that you're choosing, and on the back is this zigzaggy melon mambo with probably bubble bath, I'm guessing is what the colors are there. And we're cutting this 4¼ by 5½. So it's going to cover the whole entire front of our card base. You could use Coastal Cabana. You could use Lemon Lime Twist. I'm going to tell you, you're going to need one piece, 5½ by 4 by 8½ of the Lemon Lime Twist for our project tomorrow. But you could use the other half for this project if you wanted as well. Okay, so this is going to fit. Probably liquid glue would have been a better choice, but we're going to make it work. It's going to fit right on the front and cover the entirety of the front of that card, right like that. Linda, have you enjoyed crafting along this time? It's a bigger deal, right? Than our usual monthly craft alongs. Okay, I'm just shoring off the excess here that went off the edge. I cut it intentionally just a tiny bit big. I hate when I try to cover a card front and it's too little. I'd rather cut a little off than anything be showing on the front. Okay, so there's our card front. Now you're going to take a piece of your basic white and you're going to cut it 4 7/8 by 3 3/8. 4 7/8 by 3 3/8. All these measurements are in the PDF, so I'm not going to repeat them a lot. Okay. So now I'm going to put some things over to the side here. We are going to do our Emboss Resist technique. So I'm going to get my Versamark, and I might even do this in 2 steps. Here, let me clean this off. What I did earlier today when I was making these projects is I stamped my lobsters and my crabs. I heat embossed them. And then I stamped my bubbles. There's bubbles that you're filling in with. So let's ink up our crab. And I'm going to go up from this side right here. And you can stamp it however you want to stamp it, okay? Any direction, you're just filling in this basic white with these crabs. Okay, I'm going to put a crab right there in that corner. I'm doing the corners because it's hard to see on there. Versamark on the white is kind of hard to see. See, even when I'm trying to get you to see it, it's hard to see. So, and then we're going to grab our lobster here. And I'm going to ink him up. I'm going to have him go down from this angle. It's really going to create just kind of a sea scene backdrop to the main focus of our card, okay? This one's going to come up this direction. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and emboss this with white embossing powder. I'm going to be able to see everything a little bit better, and then I can fill in with my bubbles. Okay, I love embossing. Although I wouldn't say I'm an expert at it. It frustrates me sometimes. Oh, so can you see that now? See how we can see where the crabs and the lobsters are a whole lot easier? All right, so then I'm going to grab my bubbles here. And I'm just going to add some bubbles in any empty spots that are on this. So maybe right up there in that little hole. Maybe over here. Maybe over here. And maybe right in between these two lobsters right there. Okay. And now let's add some white embossing powder again. So we're embossing white on white. You can also do clear on the white, I suppose, huh? So adding more so those bubble parts get covered. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to grab my heat tool and I'm going to heat emboss this. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see the magic. Okay, do you see how I've poured that embossing powder on that white cardstock? My heat gun is wrapped around the leg of my chair. There we go. Okay, I'm going to heat set this. Do I have it on high? I do. So it's just going to take a minute, and you're going to see it turn from dull to shiny, like magic. There we go. You can see it a little bit better if I hold it up. It's really cool how it kind of turns from almost a crumb cake color to all white, shiny white. There we go. Can you see how that has changed to like a shiny white now? I don't see any of the darker matted spots, so I think we're good. Then we're going to grab my blending brush, and I'm going to do crumb cake ink here. And this is where the resist part comes on. Because that embossing is now shiny and rigid and solid, right? We can take our blending brush. Hi. Yay, Lisa. I'm so glad. Have you gotten your package in, my dear? I'm going to tell you, I talked to my friend who owns a shipping service, and he's been trying to track your package for me. And it is absolutely ridiculous what your poor package has been through. I am so sorry. We've been checking it every day. It seems to at least be in Pennsylvania now. It took 4 days to get out of the state of Texas. Who knows why? So look, do you see how that's making that pop? Yay! I'm so glad you got it, Lisa. Ah, what a hassle shipping has been lately. Okay, so I'm just going to keep adding ink to this, and can you see how it's kind of popping out? That embossing is kind of popping out of that. going to keep adding more and more until I'm happy with how it looks. And then there's another little piece of magic that's going to happen here in just a second. And that is that we're going to take our Kleenex and we're going to go over it, and it's really going to take that ink off that white embossed part. So can you tell the difference? That this side is just brighter and this side still has a little ink on it, right? So we're just going to keep going here, taking our tissue, going over the whole thing, shining it up for us. And I could keep adding ink if I wanted to. See how cool that is? Isn't that cool? I hope you guys think that's as awesome as I do. It's like magic. All right, so now we are going to cut this into sections, and I'm going to cut it into sections. I'm looking at my tutorial, so I remind myself that are 1 1/8 inch wide. So let me grab my little paper trimmer here, and I'm going to do 1 1/8 inch. Hopefully it was worth the wait for you, Lisa. I know that you would have preferred to craft along with us. So I'm cutting this into 1 1/8 inch little pieces here, strips. I will have 3 of them when we're done. There we go. And I'm going to line these up so that the images match up just like they were when I embossed them to begin with, right like that, okay? You don't think it was worth the wait? Is that what you're saying, Lisa? If so, that makes me sad. Oh, okay. So, aw, I thought you had lost it too. But you didn't. So, I'm glad you got it. Okay, so on my crumb cake here, I'm going to add these strips that are 1 1/8 inch wide. And I'm going to use liquid glue to adhere these down, hopefully, if the world all goes as well as it should. Okay, maybe I'm not going to use liquid glue. I don't want to give up on liquid glue because I really love the wiggle room that it gives you. But sometimes it's frustrating, right? Okay, so I'm going to put my strips on the crumb cake right here. And then this last one will go right here. And then I might shave off a little bit of that extra edge right there. Okay. Good, I'm glad. So you're saying you haven't gotten your kit yet, but you do have the PDF. Well, hopefully, he said that he knows it's gotten as far as Pennsylvania, and then they've just stopped reporting. So if you don't get it, it will hurt, but I will send you another package if you need it. I want you to have it. Okay. There we go. There's our panel. How cool is that Emboss Resist? Do you like it? Okay, so then what we're going to do with this is we're going to wrap the ribbon, the white ribbon around it. Okay. I'm going to tie it here at the bottom in white. Linda Verts, who lives in Ohio, has had hers since last Saturday, so who knows what is going on there. Okay. All right, so there is our panel. This is going to get popped up right here on the front of our card, okay? Yeah, I heard you, Lisa, that you haven't received it yet. I'm so sorry. Like I said, we know it's gotten as far as Pennsylvania, so. All right, here we go. I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of this crumb cake panel. I'm going to add a dimensional down here, kind of over that ribbon, hold it in place. I'm going to do some die cutting for our crab and our seaweed, maybe it's coral, and our little starfish here. No, I thought, oh no, I put it on upside down, but those were made that way, to go upside down. If I flipped it over, they'd still be upside down. There we go. Okay, so there's the front base of our card. All right, so now I've got a piece of granny apple green. You need to pull that out. You also need to pull out a piece of your boho blue, which I'm going to use this little scrap that I have right here. And we have some melon mambo that we're going to use for our starfish. Okay, so let me grab my dies here. The ones I just had in my hand right here. And my crab. So my crab is going to get inked on boho blue in boho blue. Hi, Ada is pronounced Ada, I'm guessing, right? Ada from Washington. Thank you for joining me here today. Appreciate that. We are doing a 5-day series called a craft along. Myself and several other demonstrators are collaborating together. We're all doing our own videos. While you're here, you guys, if you have not already started following my page, I would love it if you'd become a follower. I'm getting very close to 1,000 followers, so I would love it if you would follow my Facebook page, but I would also love it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. So the crab is going to get cut out of that. My coral is going to get cut out of this. I might cut this down a little bit just so I have less to put in my die cutting machine. There we go. And then I have my starfish and my melon mamba here. I'm going to turn around off camera where my die cutting machine is, and I'm going to put all of these in here at once and get done with all my die cutting at the same time. These crabby crabs, I'm going to tell you, you have to get their little legs in these spaces here. So you got to kind of play with it a little bit so that you can see all, there we go. That's perfect. All their little legs. You don't want to cut off their legs. I'm with you, Lisa. I love crab and I love lobster and I love all things seafood. I know there are people who feel differently out there, but when I said, what do you call these? And you said, I call them yummy. I loved that. I thought that was super cute. Okay, there's my crab. Here is my coral. I'm going to maybe run that through one more time. And here are my starfish. Pretty melon mamba starfish. I love the colors of this card, don't you? That crumb cake really makes it look sandy. Okay, let me run my coral through one more time. Sometimes these detailed dies need a little extra rolling here. Okay. Whew, there we go. How cool is that? And look at this coral. Look at the detail of those little, yes, you know what, Lisa, isn't that the funnest part about being a demonstrator or on a team is that you get to pre-order from the new catalog early. So Lisa is saying she has a pre-order coming tomorrow. That's fun. I have one coming tomorrow too. So that means what you know about that is Lisa and I didn't want to wait. We put in 2 days shipping so that we could get our pre-orders. See, this is why I have a love-hate with this. But this coral really needs this liquid glue on it. Because these little areas are so little. So I'm just going to try to be gentle with it here. Okay, there we go. That should be plenty. We really just need enough for this to lay down on the front of our card right like that. And then I'm going to grab my dimensionals and I'm going to put a couple of them on the back of my crab here. There we go. I'm going to sprinkle on some dots for my starfish. Putting these on flat as well. Okay, there we go. Just a couple of more things and we're done with this first card. Boy, there's a very small window there. I'm going to move this out just a little bit. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to do a little more heat embossing. I'm going to take this crumb cake piece for our label and I'm going to stamp it up with Versamark. So Lisa, you have to admit that PDF is pretty awesome, isn't it? And for the next project we're doing, Ange actually did a little video to kind of help you through the process in case you wanted to start it before we had our day of doing her projects, and she does a really good job. But so will I. So hopefully between the two of us, you will know how to put that little project together. Okay, so I'm heat embossing this. I'm pouring it in some white embossing powder. Hello, friend. Fun. Hi, Rebecca Phelps. I'm glad you're here. I'm finishing the first project of 2 today from the craft along, and we did a little heat embossing what's it called? Emboss Resist Technique. I think you've probably done it before. So I'm just heat embossing this hello friend here. Gonna flip it around. Then at the end, I will show everybody all the projects we've done this week. Okay, so this is going to get popped up on my card right there. And maybe I'll even use one of these little side sections here. And let's put this dimensional on the back here. Perfect reason to join up, right, Lisa? I would encourage everybody to join a team. They just add, if you're really an avid Stampin' Upper, it really adds a lot of fun to the experience. It really does. Getting things early, discounts, events, online and in person, all of those things are awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to take our matte textured dots here, and we're just going to scatter them on the front of our card. I'll put one right here and put one kind of down here over the hello. I'm going to put another little one over here. So thank you to all of you who took my craft along. I love that you're getting to craft with me. This has been such a fun experience. Somebody yesterday said, you guys should do it again. I hope we do it again as well. So here we go. How cute is that? Hello, friend. Now this one was on a thick basic white cardstock. Hi, Mary. Gosh, so many wonderful people popping in today. Thank you. So there's our card for today. Do you guys love that? Now, like I said, you wouldn't have to use thick white. You could use any of the colors that are in the DSP would work beautifully for this card. All right. Okay, let's transition. Our next project is so cute. Now, this is a little hexagonal shaped little treat package. We're going to use those Be Mine dies with the hexagon with this one, and so easy to build this project. I think you guys are going to love it, and I'm going to show you what you can put inside when we're done. Okay, so we're going to start with a piece of, and I'm doing this with you, so I'm going to grab a piece of our crumb cake cardstock out of our stash here that you got in your package, and I am going to cut this with my cutter here. I am going to cut let me pull out my instructions so I get all my measurements correct. We are going to cut it at 10.5 by 2.5. So I'm going to go 2.5 this way, long ways. Like that. And then I'm going to cut it at 10.5 this way. There we go. And then we're going to do some scoring. So the first little bit of scoring we're going to do is on this long edge right here. I'm going to put it on the 1/2 inch line, and I'm going to score it all the way up. Okay? Then Going to turn it this way, and we're going to score it. All these measurements are in the PDF at 1.5, and then 3 1/8. Dear Lord, please do not let me mess this up, or this could be a disaster. 4 3/4. It's not that hard, but being on camera and doing this at the same time is always a little stressful. 6 3/8. So 6 1/8, 2/8, 3/8 is a little less than a half, right? Okay. And 8 and 9 and 5/8. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, right there. Okay, there we go. So here's our strip. We've got all of these. This is what's going to wrap around our hexagon here. And then we have this 1/2 inch piece at the bottom. Oh, I still need this out. I'm just going to set it in my lap for a second. Okay, so we're going to score all of these to the inside here. There we go. All right, and then this piece, this little 1/2 inch piece right here, is going to get scored all the way down, right like that. Okay. Now, on this little 1/2 inch piece right here, we are going to put a piece of tear and tape the whole length of the 1/2 inch panel. Okay, so all the way down. Too late? Nope. I'm going to flip it over. You want it on this side that is going to go on the box. So we're going to put it on the side that goes, will end up going in to the inside. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, if you put it on the wrong side, you can always flip everything over and it'll be fine. Okay. So there we go. There's our tear and tape. Now, before I even tear that off, I'm going to fold these panels in, and I'm going to cut a corner right here just to the score line. And do that all the way down. Okay, I'm going to even do it on this little corner that's folded in right here. There we go. And then we're going to keep going. There we go. Keep going. And keep going. One more time. And one more time. Then let's do this little corner on the end right here. Okay, there we go. So when we're done, it should look like this, okay? Now, I'm going to grab that hexagonal crumb cake piece right here, okay? And this is going to be the base. But before I put this whole thing on, I'm going to cut my DSP. We need 6 panels. And you can use whatever DSP you want to use. But I pulled out this one with the plaid right here. Okay, this is what I'm using. You could use any of them that you wanted to. I specifically pulled out one that has some boho blue in it. Okay, I might even need to grab another piece here in a second, but I'm going to go with this. And this is going to get cut at 1 7/8. So I'm going to go to 1 7/8 right here. Do another 1 7/8 because I know I'm going to need it. There we go. I don't think I'm going to have to pull out another piece. Okay. And then each of these 1 7/8 pieces are going to get cut at 1 1/2. So I'm just going to stack mine on top of each other like this. And then I'm going to put them at the 1.5 inch mark. And I need 6 total, so I need to do this 3 times. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So those are the panels I need for my little box. And now I can add these panels on while this is flat. Okay. So I'm going to add some liquid glue. Okay. It's just going to go right here. And I don't know, how do you guys feel about the plaids all lining up? It's going to be nearly impossible to make that happen. But I will do my best here. Let's see if I can. That one will line up, right? There we go. I think this box is adorable. Angie McKay designed this. Ange is in Canada. We love our Canadian friends. Here we go. And keep going. I'm not going to worry about matching the plaids. I don't think anybody getting this box is going to say, the plaids on your panels around the outside aren't matching, right? They're going to be ripping open what's inside and eating the yummy goodness or admiring the plant, however that goes. These would make really cute teacher gifts, gifts for Bible classes, right? All of the things. All right, there we go. Now, I don't need a panel here because that's going to really overlap to the inside. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to add this edge to the very corner of one of my edges here, matching the corner with the edge of the box, right like that. I'm going to press that in. Then I'm just going to keep on going. I'm going to go down, pull off the tear and tape, roll this to the edge and press. Okay, pull off my tear and tape, roll this to the edge. And because we cut those corners, everything is going to fit a little bit better, okay? That's why we did it, or else it would all be jumbling up on the inside. There we go. That one didn't get right on the edge, so I'm going to try to move it a little bit. There we go. Awesome. And then one last one here. And what I'm going to attempt to do is lift this up, lift this edge up, and kind of tuck it all inside here. And that little panel right there will overlap. I need to go a little bit more. There we go. A little bit more. There we go. Okay, how cute is that? So see how that all matches up? Now, we're not going to worry about the inside. If you are really worried about people seeing those seams on the inside, you can take another hexagon and cut it down a little bit and fit it right on the inside there. But I don't think anybody in this world is going to care about that, okay? They're going to be so amazed by your little box. All right, I'm going to put a little liquid glue right here. There we go. Okay. All right, there's our box. So cute, right? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is grab a piece of boho blue. Not can it be any kind of scrap, or use the piece that you have in your stash there. And we are going to grab our Year of the Flower thingies here. I'm going to cut a boho blue label. And I'm just going to run it over here real quick and run it. I'm going to go ahead and stamp in pecan pie. Sending you a floral hug. Hi, Patience. Have you been here the whole time, or did you just pop in? I'm doing my day 3 of the spring break craft along projects. Okay, sending you a floral hug. I can push that aside for just a second. I'm going to grab my white scrap that I have. Maybe I need to pull out another one. You should see what this looks like, you guys, after I'm done with one of these videos. Oh my gosh, things are just all over the place. I need a system of keeping things. Here we go. Here's the piece I was looking for. Now, I chose the April one because I like the daisy, and you'll see why in just a second. I'm going to stamp this. This is a little out of character. I'm going to stamp this in pecan pie. Okay? And then I'm going to teach you another little trick. If you heat emboss that, you can use blends on it. If you get it really good and dry, and we're not using a lot of blends here, right? This is a small image, but I'm going to hit that so that it is good and set, and then I can grab my blends, and I want my Old Olive and my Daffodil Delight and my pecan pie. So my pecan pie is going to go right in the center. Okay. Oh, how's Cruz doing on that training? So this might be TMI for all of you, but Patience got her puppy a little after mine. I think hers may be way more well-trained than mine is. She has a different breed, that's why. But my golden doodle is, I think that's all I'm going to do on that green. My golden doodle will be 1 in May, and she went into heat this week, you guys, and it is not fun. It might be fun if we were planning on breeding her someday, but we're not. We just should have gotten her spayed. But I kept hearing mixed reviews on that. Like, maybe you should let them go through one heat before you spayed them. So that's exactly what she's doing, whether we wanted to or not. She's handling it very well. We got some doggy diapers for her. But anyway, it has been another part of the journey of dog ownership, right? Okay, so this is April, and I showed you guys the other day how I numbered my dies. So January, February, March, April, 4th month of the year, right? That's perfect. I'm going to put my die on there. I'm going to grab my tear-in tape so that I can hold that into place. There we go. And I want 2 of these leafy things. Oh my goodness. See, he's going to be a smart dog. Rory's just like, pet me, throw me the ball. That's all she cares about. And feed me, right? Your dog's going to know. Well, and you know what? Patience, I just reminded myself that you're hard of hearing. So having a dog that knows how to hear for the tornado siren is brilliant. And I don't know if that's why you've got Cruz, is to help you with some of that. But that is a great thing to train your dog for, especially if you're hard of hearing, right? Maybe we should train Rory for that, because my husband is hard of hearing too, as you know. So, all right. So, we've got everything. Oh, I didn't cut out my daisy. I thought I put it on there with the flower. I'm talking. See, don't talk and craft. Somebody should make me a t-shirt that says that. Don't talk and craft. Okay. Cut out my daisy. And see, even though I stamped that in pecan pie, because I heat embossed it, it didn't bleed. And it gives a little more of a vintage kind of romantic look to it, I think. So, okay, I'm going to put my dies away, all these little dies, before I lose them. And then we're almost done, folks, with day 3. Okay. I am going to attach my flower right here next to my little saying right there. And I'm going to use some liquid glue for that. Why am I having liquid glue issues today? Because I throw things everywhere. That is why. Oh, here it is right here. See, eventually I usually find it. That is so cool, Patience. I love that you're doing that. What a great companion he's going to be. Okay, maybe a little bit on this stem right here. There we go. And then on the back side of this, I'm going to add some Seal Plus, kind of right here in this corner. And then I'm going to attach this greenery that I cut using garden green. I don't know if I said that, I was chatting, to the back side here. And then add some dimensionals and pop that on. Before I do that though, I need to wrap my ribbon around this. I almost forgot about that. So I'm going to grab my white ribbon. I'm going to roll it around this box and tie it to the right side of one of these. Okay, let me cut it first, maybe. Okay, I'm going to wrap it around. Tie it in a bow right here. All right, and then I'm going to put some dimensionals right here in the center of this panel, and I'm going to kind of use them to hold that that ribbon in place. There we go, one right there. Maybe one more in the middle here. There we go. Pull these off. And then this label is going to get adhered right there on the front of my little box. Ribbon can turn a little sideways there. And one more thing, need to add our embellishment. So what Angie did is she put one on either little end right here, kind of look like rivets in that label. And then I added a third kind of right down there. Now, here we go. I'm going to tell you why I used the daisy. I found these bags on Amazon. I'm going to use them for my daisy, paper pumpkin, and cookie class that I have coming up. And they are so cute. I was going to look for the package they came in, but I can't find them. But these are little treat bags. Look at this, that have daisies on them. How cute are those? So I filled it up with a little fluff. I got these on Amazon. I will put the link in the description after this video is over, but great for spring projects, right? And then I put those little flowered candies that you got in your craft along bag, and they will fit perfectly inside this little box. How cute is that? Isn't that a fun thing? Now, I also found these little pots. These would be cute for teacher gifts. Put a little plant on the inside and say, sending you a floral hug. How cute is that? Or fill it with candy. You could do either one, right? So I hope you love these projects today. I'm going to put them out here so that you can see them. These are today's projects, right? This was yesterday's whitewash watercolor technique class, and then these were Mondays with the year of the flower and that faux suede technique on this card right here. So we have 3 techniques so far: faux suede, whitewash watercoloring, and embossed resist. Tomorrow we're going to learn how to make our own bokeh paper. So cool. I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to come back to my face here. I am guessing I'll be here around noon, but you know, life happens. So, oh, Lisa has a little puppy, some little puppies, Labradoodles. And you're in Connecticut, aren't you, Lisa? Unfortunately, that's too far away for me to come snag a puppy. How fun is that? I love that. So God bless everybody. I'll see you here sometime tomorrow. My plan is at noon. And we will have our 2 projects that were made by me. One is using the bokeh technique, and we'll teach you how to make your own bokeh paper. And then we have a cute little Year of the Flowers project as well. So God bless, and I'll see you tomorrow, probably around noontime. Bye-bye.